Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Planman. Everything you wanted to know about finance, insurance, and more, but were afraid to ask. I'm your host, Bruce Weinstein, and today we're sitting down with estate planning attorney Russell Fishkind. Russ is a partner with the law firm of Saul Ewing, and he focuses his practice on high net worth estate planning, business succession planning. We're seeing planning coming here, folks. It's the Planman, family office consulting, estate administration, and probate litigation. Not only that, Russ is an assistant adjunct professor at NYU Law School in New York, and he's the author of several books, including Legacy of a Lifetime, A Layman's Guide to Understanding Estate Matters, Probate Wars of the Rich and Famous, that's a juicy one, I've read it, and co-author of Estate Business Succession Planning with J.K. Lasser. I've invited Russ to talk with you today about the importance and challenges that is facing families around special need individuals. Russ and his son Joshua have founded Hope Trust, and I invited Russ to speak with us today about how Hope Trust got started. Welcome to the show, Russ.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Tell us about this glaring, sizable problem that young families facing special needs challenges have been dealing with, yourself included, that led to the Hope Trust being founded.
Sure. Well, as you indicated, I'm an estate planning attorney. I'm also the father of 3 children, one of whom has unique challenges. And so this started because my most difficult client, my non-paying client, my wife, would ask me questions, just before bed at 5 to 11 when I'm nodding out. What happens if something happens to us? Who's going to make sure our son is okay? Who's going to make sure there's food in the refrigerator, a roof over his head, that he has the right clothes, that he has the right amount of money in his account, and that we can make sure that the things that he likes the most, we're providing to him if we're gone or are being provided for him, and the things that are the triggers are being addressed. Who's going to do this? And I could start off and say, oh, well, we'll name XYZ Bank and Trust as trust company. And in fact, Bruce, I called some of the biggest trust companies in the country and said, look, if something happens to me and there's a few dollars involved here, how would you help manage my son's trust and make sure he's okay on a weekly basis? And basically what I got back is that's not really something we do. We're happy to manage the money. But in terms of interacting with your son on some kind of routine basis, it's just not what we do. Well, it turns out that my wife's concerns are not limited to my wife. That, Bruce, the numbers are off the charts. We're talking about 20% of Americans have a loved one with special needs. And depending upon the math, we're talking about hundreds of millions of individuals who have a loved one with special needs and they don't know how to plan. And so we created Hope Trust to help individuals through a technology platform create a plan.
So I've used it and I've sent clients to it since you and I have engaged upon it, and you've shared the collaboration that came about. So what exactly is the Hope Trust doing? I can elaborate, but I want you to really do it. It's an organizational tool on some levels. True?
Yeah, so Hope Trust is a technology platform built by my son, Josh Fishkind, who's a JD MBA. And basically, they took the DSM and turned every diagnosis into a plain English question. And so for families who have young ones or loved ones with special needs, they go onto the platform and they answer a survey. And the survey it's the most comprehensive survey in the country. And it intelligently links different diagnoses to each other. And so as individuals answer the survey questions, it's creating, number one, a life care plan. So the life care plan is built by this technology, which is, by the way, built by MSWs and clinicians and therapists. So this was not lawyers and tax professionals creating the questions. It was MSWs and clinicians. And so it's not a quick result. It's going to take a couple hours of concentration for the client to build their estate plan, to build their life care plan. And they don't need anyone. They could do this in the comfort of their home They can save their work and come back and finish it days later if they can't do it all in one sitting. But when they're done, a couple things are accomplished, Bruce. Number one, a detailed life care plan. In my son's case, it was about a 13-page life care plan, and it details everything from the moment he wakes up. What does he like to eat? Can he bathe himself? Does he need help dressing? Can he drive a car? Can he manage money? What relationships does he have? And by the time the client finishes the survey, they have this detailed 10 to 20 page report. And then you can permission what we call the village. So if Bruce is my financial planner, I can permission Bruce so he has access to the plan. If my brother is a family member who can help in the event we can't get in touch with my son or there's some unique, I can permission him. And I can grant different permissions to different people. In other words, I can say, I want Bruce to see the financial information, but not so much of the medical information. Or I want my brother to see the medical information, but not the financial information. So you can kind of build a village around my son holistically. And Bruce, when I use the term holistically, what I mean is that it includes data and family members and professionals from the estate planning, accounting, banking, insurance, medical, clinical, and technology, all in one, so that the client has this holistic team built on the platform that creates a number of things. Number one, the life care plan. And that life care plan, Bruce, that it can be updated on a 24/7, 365 basis. That's important because what I find is clients come to me to create a special needs trust, let's say, and the data that they have on their child is 10 years old, which, data on a 17-year-old versus a 27-year-old is very different. And so the idea here is it's dynamic. You can update it. Number one. Number two, did you have a question? Number two is, Bruce, this has never been done. It quantifies how much money should fund a supplemental needs trust,
Right.
in my case, upon my demise. Now, here's the thing that shocked me. And Bruce, I've been doing this for 30 years. This was built with some of the finest minds, in my opinion, from people who graduated Ivy League schools. And we calculated and created a Monte Carlo system that quantifies the need. And that is to say, we create a budget for my son. And we say, okay, he's 32 years old. This is how much money a month we need to provide. And so for his actuarial life expectancy, taking into account certain peaks of spending needs or market adjustments that may occur, Monte Carlo simulation.
So let me just jump on that for 1 second. So for people who don't understand what Monte Carlo is, you and I are familiar with the term. When you're looking at stock market performances, you have highs and lows and kind of middle of the roads and where the norms and the trends are. And what the Monte Carlo simulation does is it runs hundreds, if not thousands and millions of scenarios to give you the best cases, the worst cases, and where kind of the average is going to be. And so in Russ's application here, he's applying that system to the likelihood and the successes and kind of an average point of if my money makes 7% the rest of my son's life and his expenses are, $4,000 a month, he can then back into how much money is needed to fund the trust.
And that's right. And it includes if my son is getting government benefits like SSI or Medicaid or not. And so here's the part that surprised me. The number yielded for or suggested as to how much money I should put into my son's trust was $2.7 million. Now, if I'm to treat my three children equally, the theory would be, as long as I have 7.5 million or more, I'm good. But to the extent I don't, then a planner can say, you do have $1 million that could fund your son's trust upon my and my wife's demise, but you're short 1.7. Perhaps you should buy second to die life insurance, and perhaps my wife and I can actually be the owners if we don't have a taxable estate, but the beneficiary could be the supplemental needs trust. And that way, to the extent the policy grows and has cash value, if we want to borrow against it, we can. But upon the second spouse's demise, it would fund the supplemental needs trust together with the assets flowing through my will. And now we've accomplished two things. We have a life care plan, which guides the trustee that they can make distributions of income and or principal to or on behalf of my son, and that we know we have the right amount to do that for his lifetime. So now we have a life care plan, we've quantified the need. Number three, now we can say to our insurance professional, we have a delta or we have a gap of X, and here's how we're going to fund it. And then we can run through the different insurance policies. Not that I'm in that space, I'm not, but I'd rely on someone like you.
Well, that's where we are brought in a lot of times. The clients that have addressed or identified this situation, we say, well, what are you doing? Right? I'm always probing with the questions. What's your plan here? And how are you going to fund and take care of the child when you're gone? And their light bulbs kind of go off like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that. I don't really know what to do. And then I direct them to Hope Trust. And I say, look, you got to start getting organized. There's more to it than just what you can afford to buy life insurance on, right?
Exactly.
But if you don't have the hard assets, the life insurance is a great way to create the asset and fund a special needs trust, which is why the Planman is here bringing in Russ, because this is something, as Russ alluded to earlier, 60 plus million Americans are dealing with special needs situations in their families. That's an alarming number. And so when the parents are aging and passing on, who's taking care of the 50-year-old son that's still special needs? Because you don't grow out of it. It's forever.
And I'll tell you who doesn't want to take care of this individual, their siblings.
That's right.
Because usually they've spent a lifetime knowing that their mom and dad committed so much of their time and energy to making sure that this child does well. But as they all mature, the other children, the siblings, they want to do their own thing, and they don't want to be trustee, and they don't want to butt heads with their sibling who may have unique needs. And so this technology platform, Bruce, creates the life care plan. It quantifies the need. It identifies the gap, which could be funded with insurance. And then fourth is it creates the trust. And so when I say the trust, I'm talking about a special needs trust. Now, sometimes, depending upon the client's net worth, it'll create an irrevocable third-party special needs trust. Irrevocable, right? Can't be revoked. Third party, meaning I'm creating it for the benefit of my son. And a special needs trust, meaning that the income and principal can be used to enhance my son's life, so long as it doesn't provide for needs that Medicaid or Social Security provides. So it has to supplement, not supplant, government benefits.
Correct. So let me, for those listening that may not understand all of that. So when you have a special needs situation, that child is normally eligible for some form of a disability or Social Security benefit, but they can't have assets. And so if Russ were to leave his child $1 million unencumbered, not in a trust, then his son is going to lose all of those benefits that the government was providing, which might include living arrangements and being in a community home or center of some kind, or getting around-the-clock care, depending on how severe it is. And so the reason for the trust is to put the assets in there, as Russ just said, to supplement what the government benefits are, not lose them. Correct?
Yes, that is correct. And by the way, Bruce, there are so many ways to muck it up and make mistakes. Like, for example, someone can create a third-party special needs trust. But if I were to ask you, Bruce, 99% of your clients who have life insurance, who do they have named as beneficiary? Spouse, if not spouse, children. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay, but if one of those children has special needs, guess what? They just lost their benefits.
Can't give it to them.
Next.
That's right.
IRAs and 401ks. 99% of the time, what do you see? Spouse is beneficiary, if not spouse, children equally. Well, if that child has special needs, guess what? Again, they're going to lose their benefits. And so part of what this technology platform does, Bruce, it identifies not only the gap, but titling of assets to be integrated with the special needs trust. So maybe 1/3 of the qualified plan funds the special needs trust. Maybe 1/3 of the life insurance funds the special needs trust, right? So we have to integrate the titling of assets with our irrevocable third-party special needs trust.
I mean, I found the whole thing so fascinating. So you've got medical challenges in the sense of care for the individual. That has to be coordinated, as you talked about the life plan and the schedule from when they wake up, and can they go to the bathroom themselves? Can they wash themselves? What all that needs to be entailed. So you're incorporating that. You've got the financial picture, and then you have what else?
So a couple things. Number one, the permissioning, that we create the village. So this way we have a holistic approach. So all of the professionals and all the family members and the data, Bruce, we have a document vault. So if the child has an IEP or has, a medical history that you need to know, it can be stored in the vault. And so if something were to happen to me and my wife, and you were named as, a person in the village, and there was a problem, you could go in the document vault and say, these are the issues he's had his whole life. Here's the way we might want to deal with it, right? So it permissions a group of people who care, and the documents are stored in a vault. It'll draft the trust, whether it's a revocable special needs trust or an irrevocable special needs trust, and it'll appoint the trustee. Now, this is important, and this is also a new concept. You may know, Bruce, that oftentimes an estate planning attorney will draft documents and it names a corporate fiduciary, a bank. Well, there are methods where we can trifurcate or bifurcate the duties of a trustee. And that is to say, if a client were to name Hope Trust as trustee, Hope Trust is not looking to manage the money. It might be XYZ financial planner who's managing the money. And that way, the idea is each person contributes their sweet spot. So if Hope Trust's sweet spot is that we have MSWs and clinicians who can interact with a beneficiary and make sure that he or she is getting what they need, that's the Hope Trust sweet spot. But as trustee, we can delegate the investment management to who the client wants, right? We can delegate the distributions. And so that way you can bring in a team and trifurcate, meaning give different people or different entities different responsibilities. So instead of asking XYZ Bank and Trust, who says, no, we don't want to get involved with distributions, to do something they really don't want to do, you can trifurcate. You can break it up into pieces and give it to individuals or entities who are properly skilled to deliver those services.
It's just amazing. You've taken something, business ideas come about from problems. And so we're all out here trying to solve a problem. And if you think about Russ being dealt what he was dealt with, and then even as a trained professional in his space, running into all the obstacles and disconnections in a process. And though kudos to you for coming up with the concept to take everything from clunky, disconnected, no organization, and now putting in something that is in perpetuity on the cloud, right, on the internet of some fashion, that all this information data is going to be housed and accessible and assigned and potentially reassigned as people age out, pass on. You need to replace the trustee, replace the investment manager, and replace the insurance people. I mean, you and I are the same age group, and our kids are the same age group, and if you're assigning me at some point, you and I are going to kind of go at the same time, in theory, right, age-wise. So who's going to step in at that point? So you not only need to replace the parent who's been running it, but realistically, the parents' advisors are in the same age band, and they're going to need to be replaced, right? And so all of this is being put into contingency plans, hubbed in one place. So Joshua can get at it. Your other child can get at it. Your grandkids can get at it at some point. So as the special needs situation surpasses the parent's life expectancy, it all just doesn't fall apart, and the child, which is now an adult, is not stranded.
Well, that was actually an excellent summary. I think you nailed it, because that is exactly my experience, that it's been a disjointed community where this is truly an issue that keeps parents up at night, but they could ask their accountant and generally not get an integrated answer, or ask their estate planner, and yeah, they might get estate planning documents, but that's not the uber answer. You can ask an insurance professional who might be able to recommend the right product, but that's not the uber answer. You're right. You put them all together in one platform where there's interaction and a life care plan. Well, now you've taken a mess and you've turned it into a clean, efficient ecosystem that can be amended and updated as often as appropriate. And I would like to add, Bruce, there's one other topic, because when you ask, so how does this work? The last piece, which is perhaps the most important piece, is concierge services. That means if I need to have a Whole Foods delivery every Tuesday that includes, blueberries, pineapples, orange juice, toast, milk, and eggs, guess what's happening every Tuesday? If I need to make sure that my son goes to a Met game 3 times a year, he's going to a Met game. I can't guarantee a win. But my point is that we can deliver concierge services, that we read the life care plan. And if it says he likes to sail, or he likes to fish, or he likes to watch movies, that's part of the concierge service. And there's no service out there. There's no trustee out there who's put together these kinds of services.
So is the Hope Trust itself facilitating, or is it just the housing of it is there for the caregiver at some level, whoever is responsible to go out and get the Met tickets? Or is the concierge is in the Hope Trust? Are they physically going out and getting Met tickets and arranging transportation and taking the individual? Is that what we're saying?
The beauty of technology is if it's in the life care plan, the Hope Trust administrators know that that's part of their responsibility. And so they may outsource the food delivery to XYZ vendor, or they may have a relationship with Uber that they say, pick them up at 6:30 for a 7 o'clock movie and make sure you wait until 10:45 to bring them home. And so some of it is subbed out and some of it we do internally.
Okay. And so the concierge service exists inside the Hope Trust, where somebody can communicate and say, I need blank. And the concierge, like any concierge, is going to go out and find a way to connect the dots.
Exactly.
That's outstanding.
Bruce, you've been in the planning business for a long time, as have I. And I've yet to see any ecosystem for the special needs community in my life. So I look at it like I feel good about this because we're embracing a community that really needs to be embraced.
Oh, yeah. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot. When we spoke about this a couple years back, I had mentioned this tie-in to the elder care side. Have you guys done anything? I mean, it certainly overlays. It's just about the age of the individual, whether they're 2, 20, 32, 82. The concept of this can apply to anybody at any age. And I thought there was an easy tie-in for those dealing with an elder care situation to be able to use the Hope Trust, very similar parallel usages, except now it's an 80, 90, 100-year-old that has no family or needed assets put aside or had to have their care taken care of. So have you been able to see that progression into that side of the space as well?
Yeah, and you've identified the correct variables that dictate the fact that there is a need, that there are many seniors who need a touch, who need someone to make sure they're getting the food, that they're getting out, that they're enjoying themselves, and yet the team is around them. And so, yes, our technology could accommodate that as well. Now, do we need to make some tweaks before we roll it out to the public? Yes, for sure. And right now, we're really trying to first make sure our technology becomes mainstream, and there's a tipping point where we see success and we work out the nits. But yes, indeed, helping the senior community would be next.
Sure. Yeah, it seems a very easy pivot in the space. So again, folks, as you're listening to Russ, when you're dealing with the special needs, it's beyond an onion that has many, many layers that have to be peeled back. And you're dealing with the financial, you're dealing with their medications, just, I mean, whether it's a senior or a young adult, the medication side of things, I, we'll go. We rescue Great Danes. Okay, the correlation stories stick with me, and so we've had dogs with medical issues over the years. When you're rescuing Danes, they come with health issues, and we have to map out. If we go on vacation and have a dog sitter, 2 o'clock gets this, 3 o'clock this one gets that, 4 o'clock this one gets fed. So that's just for a week. Imagine doing that for somebody's life. They have to take these medications this time of day. They have to get this with milk. They have to eat at this time before they take that medication. That stuff has to get plotted out and elongated for 50, 70, 80 plus years for these individuals. So this is not an easy undertaking. And, kudos to you guys for coming up with this. It blew me away when you told me. I knew I had to have you on the show to talk about it. We're going to put all your information in the comments. It's hopetrust.com. We've got Russell.Fishkind at Saul, right? I have it all in there. I'm not reading anything. I'm just trying to remember your contact info. But you can look at our show notes, everybody, and get Russ's contact information. As always, you can reach out to us. Before I let you go, is there anything that we didn't cover that we still wanted to make sure we addressed for everybody under the?
Well, yeah, I would just say that some of this is free. And so to your listeners, they should know that if they have a loved one with special needs, at least take advantage of the free tier, because they can go on hopetrust.com, they can start their survey, they can start quantifying the gap, they can meet the MSWs who are on the team and start to get a comfort level. So I welcome all of your listeners to take advantage of the free tier and to look at their loved one and feel comforted knowing that they're creating a plan.
Is there, the challenges today is everything is, press 1 for operator, for 2 for this and 3 for that. Is there an ability for somebody as they start, let's say they do self-exploration there and they realize maybe they have questions or they want to uncover, is there an ability to speak with somebody within the platform, or is it more self-help guided?
Oh, no, we have several really talented MSWs and clinicians. And so when you go on the website, if you would like to talk to somebody, you just leave a note and one of the MSWs and clinicians will be in touch with you. And I would say, Bruce, that part of what's amazing is they care. All of our MSWs joined this company before we had technology. They built it. The MSWs, the technology professionals, the attorneys, the bankers, all built this technology. And so,
let me just jump real quick, because you've used it several times, and I never presume people understand some of the jargon we use. MSW is Masters of Social
yes.
Work. These are, so what? Just break that out a little bit. Who are they? What are they doing? Because you've referenced them being so heavily involved in this. So what exactly is that individual?
Well, the idea, Bruce, is you may be great at planning and creating the right life insurance structure, but if I started talking to you about autism or bipolar or cerebral palsy, do you really have the skill set to respond, appropriately? And the answer is probably no, right? And so what our MSWs do is they have the skill set of not only being able to communicate about these challenges, but because they built the technology with us, is to incorporate things like special needs trusts, integrating life insurance into the plan, changing beneficiaries of qualified plans, the difference between a revocable and irrevocable trust, and how to set up concierge services. So we've created kind of a hybrid of MSWs who understand not just the special needs space, Bruce, but how to incorporate a technology platform with professionals to build a village so that we can deliver concierge services to make the parents feel comfortable that they can go to bed at night and not have to worry about this, and also to give their loved one the comfort of saying, hey, look, we've set up a system. Should something ever happen to us, here's who you call, and they're going to be up to speed and make sure you're okay.
There's not a parent out there that doesn't care about the health and well-being of their child. And this is a way that you can deliver to them peace of mind. And once this is implemented properly and executed, that everything surrounding their child's going to be taken care of. And I don't think a parent would want any more solace than that knowledge, to know the day I'm gone from this planet as we know it, my kid's going to be okay. And so again, congratulations and kudos to you for coming up with this. I think it's just amazing
Thank you.
what it is and what it can be. And we certainly want to promote and wish you guys nothing but success with it. So if you know anyone, if you're personally involved in a special needs situation, certainly if you know some people, please check out hopetrust.com. Get in touch with them. Seek out guidance and advice. They may not be the right fit or answer for you. Maybe you need something on a smaller scale and need to grow into it later. It doesn't matter. Get informed. See what it's about. Come check them out there. I want to thank my guest, Russ Fishkind. Again, in the show notes below, you can find all of Russ's contact information. Please like, share, and subscribe our podcast on our YouTube channel. We'd love to hear from you. We want to have more topics like this. This is not just insurance conversation. This is not investment conversation. This is the more. This is what the Plan Man's all about. So please keep submitting your questions to us. Visit us at our website, asktheplanman.com. Give us a call on our toll-free number, 844-PLAN-MAN. Russ, again, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you on, and we wish you lots of success. Folks, remember, if you need advice, always get it right. Come ask the Plan Man. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, Russ, for being with us.
Bye-bye.
When you need some advice, never sacrifice, always get it right. Ask the Plan Man. Finance, insurance, and